All right, we are live. Live to fight another day with SDP on MMA. As always, I am Shadow Don, joined by Sky Don. Together, we are SDP on MMA. We are excited. Got a lot of things going on, a lot to talk about from last week. Last Saturday night's fights were off the chain, and this upcoming event, this coming Saturday night, we are awfully excited about UFC 217. Bisping, St. Pierre, Garbrandt, Dillashaw, Jedrzejczyk, Namajunas, Wonderboy, Masvidal, Vick, Duffy, the list goes on, and we are excited. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, and just for the record, if there's one fight card this year that you're gonna bust a nut over, this is it. This is it. UFC 217 this Saturday. Let's go.
Yeah. Couldn't be more excited. I'm juiced. I've been thinking about this one for at least a month and a half solid now. So, yeah, before we get going, I just want to say we're still looking for someone to come give us a hand. We need someone to help us out on the audio-visual side of what we're trying to do here. We got a lot of great ideas for the show, but we need somebody to help us put it all together. So if you're out there, we need your help. Let us know if you're interested. You can contact us down at the comments at the bottom. You can reach out to us on Twitter, Instagram, SDP_MMA. But, yeah.
Don't forget to subscribe either.
Yeah. If you're listening out there and you're coming back, please subscribe. We see our numbers are starting to increase. That's good to see. Give us a like if you like what we got to say. And leave us a comment, man. Let us know you're out there. We're still waiting for people to start talking to us. I did get a couple questions in, which was kind of cool. So, yeah, we'll be doing our fight predictions to kick the night off for that UFC 217 card. It's an amazing card. When we're done there, we'll jump into some post-fight analysis over Fight Night 119, the Brunson versus Machida. It was pretty star-studded, and we enjoyed the hell out of it last Saturday night. And, yeah, so we'll jump right into the card, man.
Hey, before we get started, just to let y'all know, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the comments, and it's in all of our videos, but I want to make sure you're using it. I got the time staples ready to go, so if you want to fast forward or if you're here to listen to a particular fight, you know, they're all going to be posted with times in order from the co-mains, or not the prelim cards, all the way to the main card. So just make sure y'all are using that, and let's get it started.
All right, so here we go. Kicking off the night, it is Alemann Zahabi versus Ricardo Ramos in the bantamweight division. You want to kick it off tonight, brother?
I'll kick it off. First of all, I'll just say right off the bat, I had Ramos winning this fight until I realized, okay, I recognize that last name. And Zahabi is the little brother of Firas Zahabi, the famous coach and trainer at TriStar. So, yeah, this one's a little bit interesting because obviously Ramos has the UFC experience with one fight, and it was Michinori Tanaka. And it was a decision when I thought he could have done better, but he showed a lot of great basics, and I just think he could have done a bit better. But, man, with the hype and the TKO power and Zahabi and the rear naked choke and the ankle locks, yeah, I'm going to take the TriStar native out of Quebec and go ahead and go Zahabi here.
Yeah, I too was thinking immediately. I thought Ramos or Yamos. I'm not sure exactly how you do those anymore, but you know who I'm talking about. Look, the biggest thing that this kid's got going for him, he is on a straight win streak. He doesn't know what it is to lose just yet, and you gotta love that, man. That's exciting, and that's what this kid's bringing to the fight. He's just, so far we haven't seen a whole lot of him. So we're not really sure what all he's capable of. But in that first fight in the UFC against Vieira, you know, he showed a little bit of everything, and he won by unanimous decision. So we got to see 3 rounds of kind of a little bit of everything that he can do. And man, I'm just anxious to see what the next step is for this kid. I went and watched some fight tape on Ricardo, and man, I just don't know if I trust the guy yet. There wasn't anything that stood out to me that said that he was, you know, going to be a superstar or anything like that just yet. But at the same time, I'm not trying to take anything away from him. I just really felt like after watching the two of them, after fight tape, I was just kind of leaning on Zahabi. So, I mean, let's see here. I should have pulled this up. I'm sorry, but let me tell you what Vegas odds are here. All right.
And Ramos is the bigger fighter slightly by an inch, but he is 10-1 and Zahabi 7-0. So,
yeah, Ramos is it's Ramos is -120. Zahabi is -110. So right now, I mean, that's anybody's ball game, really, according to the odds. So yeah, I'm just leaning on Zahabi to get the deal done. How are you thinking this one's going to go down?
I'm going to get ballsy and say rear naked choke.
Yeah?
Let's see if I can pull it off again this week.
I don't know enough to say just yet, so I'm just going to say Zahabi by decision.
Okay, fair enough. Right.
So the next one, I have no idea why this fight is at the bottom of the card. It kind of surprised me because it stuck out just based on the names. We got the light heavyweight division. We got OSP, Ovince St. Preux against Corey Anderson. And were you as surprised as I was to see it at the bottom of the lineup?
Yeah, but I think it has its reasons.
Yeah? What do you think?
Yeah. I want to hear what you got first.
Well, what can you say? OSP, I mean, this guy was just headlining, I think, his last fight, wasn't he?
In Japan, yes.
Yeah, and, man, dude, I like everything about OSP. Yeah, he comes out of Knoxville Martial Arts Academy. We've talked a lot about him. Purple belt, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. This guy has got wrestling skills. He brings a little bit of everything. He's got great strikes. He knows how to throw those fists. That fight in Japan against Yushin Okami.
It's the only fight that there's never been a strike thrown, by the way.
It was crazy. And, it ended so fast in round one. He took performance of the night. It was a Von Flue choke.
His third one.
Yeah. And let me tell you, man, this guy I didn't think he was a submission specialist, but it's turning out that guy's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is on fire. So, he did the same thing to Marcos de Lima. I mean, it was literally the same thing. It just happened to happen in round two. He had a few heavy losses before then, but those were some big old boys. We had Vulcan, Jimmy Manua, John Jones. I mean, come on. You could take a loss to any one of those guys, right? And not feel real bad about it. So, yeah, I mean, 31 fights under this guy's belt, 21 wins, 10 losses. Yeah, I am going to say OSP all day. And that, for me, is not really meaning to take, again, anything away from another well-known light heavyweight. But the difference there is you got a guy that, in Corey, he is a wrestler / boxer. Man, OSP is so good with his jiu-jitsu that if they go to the ground, I think he negates the wrestling of Corey. Corey would have to outmuscle him on top, and OSP does not like to be on the ground. So unless he's on top and in control. So yeah, I don't know, man. This is a tough one. By the way, he also has a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu now. And so Corey Anderson is, he's becoming well-rounded. I just don't think he's on that same level as OSP. So I'm taking OSP by knockout or TKO in round 2. How do you got this one?
I think there's levels. I think that there's evolution in this game, in this sport, and OSP is showing that later on in his career. At 34, he's still sinking next to, I think, the Ezekiel choke. The hardest choke to do in MMA is the Von Flue choke. And I think out of the 5 that have been done, the 4 or 5 that have been done ever, he's done 3 or 4 of them. So, I mean, he's got the frame. I've always thought that about him, but I've always thought, okay, well, use the wrestling, use your top heaviness, use your range, strike it out. And now I don't think that's the game plan with OSP. I think he's becoming smart. I think he's realizing I only have so many miles. Getting knocked out by Jimmy Manua wasn't very fun, and losing to Vulcan wasn't very fun. So, yeah, no, I like what OSP is doing, but the reason why I said I have my reasons to think that this doesn't belong on the main card is OSP, I know he had the awesome Von Fu choke in his last fight, but that was against Yushin Okami. So that may be big for Japan, but nobody cares about Yushin Okami here. And that's no disrespect to him. I care. But we're talking about the average American or the average UFC fans that will tune in once a weekend and not watch the other fight organizations or fighters coming from other countries. But I think that's why that landed the spot is if you look at Corey Anderson's last fight was in March and he got knocked out the first round by Jimmy Manua. So, I mean, these guys are, I think, struggling to find identity, but OSP, I certainly would say, has more identity than Corey Anderson and is developing the identity. It's not the young grind that Corey's still putting in. So I'm going to go OSP submission round 2. I don't know what, though. Probably another Von Fu choke. I just want to get that on record if I'd miss, whatever.
All right, well, Vegas has got OSP slightly favored at -160. Corey Anderson at +130.
Fair odds. They're both two big individuals, and they're both 6'3". It's going to be a good fight either way, no matter what you get, if it goes to the ground or if it stays on the feet. I'd like to see more of what OSP can do on the ground, though. I'm digging it. I'm loving how he's using that range.
Mm-hmm. You know, one thing that really surprised me about Corey Anderson is that he comes from Renzo Gracie.
Oh, really?
Surprising.
That is surprising.
Yeah, right? All right, well, good deal. So, how did you pick that one again? St. Preux?
OSP submission round 2.
Submission round 2. Okay, I got KO, TKO round 2. All right, so our next fight. Why don't you lead us off? We got Alexey Oleynik versus Curtis Blaydes. That's in the heavyweight division.
So what's interesting is we were just talking about the Von Fu choke, and I was talking about the Ezekiel choke, and the only guy to ever do it is Alexey Oleynik, the fight right after OSP. So I thought that was weird that was a caveat into what we're talking about now. But yeah, Alexey Oleynik, probably the best Russian jiu-jitsu I've ever seen out of Russia. Like, I know that the Russian wrestling and the jiu-jitsu hybrid is big there, but this guy's just straight jiu-jitsu, Russian jiu-jitsu. And I don't know if it's Sambo or what he classifies exactly, but they call him the boa constrictor for a reason. He has 45 submissions in his record out of 55 wins. And the dude can do it all still at age 40. He doesn't take damage, though, and that's the real reason why I'm going Curtis Blaydes. But do not get it twisted. If you can submit Travis Brown at age 40 this year with a rear naked choke, you can submit Curtis Blaydes. If you can submit Victor Pesta with an Ezekiel choke he was full mounted. Oleynik was about to lose that fight in the first round, and he pulled that shit off. And I don't know. There's just something special about this Oleynik cat, and I always am scared betting against him because he pulls shit. The sneaky shit, the real jiu-jitsu. He's an opportunist.
Fourth degree black belt.
Yeah, he's an opportunist, and I like that style, but at the same time, man, Curtis Blaydes is an animal. And he's at Elevation Fight Team right now. He's about 3-4 inches taller at 6'4", 6'5". He's younger by almost half the mileage. Mm-hmm. Man, he throws really nice elbows and knees. He's got big, heavy hands. He took out Adam Milstead and Cody East. I feel good with Blaydes, but, man, you can't ever feel too good against a boa constrictor. You just can't.
So you're taking Blaydes?
I'm taking Blaydes.
All right. Well, this is the first one we're different on. I am thinking that all that wear and tear is fight IQ. And the one thing that Curtis Blaydes does not have is a lot of fights under his belt. Let's face it, he's only got 4. This will be his 5th UFC fight. He's got 9 matches, 7 wins, 1 loss. 6 of those fights were by knockout, 1 by decision. Yeah, Elevation Fight Team, man. A lot to be said. Those boys out of Chicago, they are the real deal. I've heard nothing but good things about the camps there. Did you know that Oleynik is currently training out of America Top Team?
Good for him.
Yeah, right. So I think he's, this is for all the wear and tear that we can talk about, from a guy that has as many fights under his belt as he does. Remember, this guy has fought in middleweight, light heavyweight, and heavyweight division. He knows, his way around an octagon or a ring or a cage or anything else that he's in for that matter. He's also ranked in combat sambo. And, God, man, those Russians bring it, dude. And like you, I have a tough time with betting on old guys. But, yeah, somehow he always seems to get me when I go against him. So I'm going to go Oleynik. Let's see what I picked him by decision. So not a lot of faith that he's going to put him out, but I think he's going to get the job done. So we'll see. We'll see. And you've got Blaydes by how? You're
going to hate me, but if Blaydes is going to do this, it's going to be a round 1 knockout.
Straight up, right?
Yeah, he's going to have to go at him. And if you clip at Alexey, he's going to go down.
Yeah.
But the problem is you have to make sure he's out. Because if you jump on top, that's the worst thing you could do.
Well, I mean, Blaydes is heavily favored. Vegas odds have him at -375. Alexey is positive 285. So nobody's thinking the old man can do it. But I urge you to go watch the big fights where he has somehow pulled some crazy ass submission out of his ass. So, and he does the job. All right, the next fight. That brings us to another banger. We got Randy Brown versus Mickey Gall in the welterweight division. I'm going to let you go first because I know more about Mickey Gall than I do Randy Brown. And to be completely honest with everybody, I didn't get around to doing a lot of tape, a lot of fight tape on Randy Brown. So what can you tell me?
What I can tell you is this dude's got great Muay Thai. He's out of Spanish Town, Jamaica. He's training at Budokan Martial Arts Academy, so he knows how to throw kicks and he knows how to use that 6'2" frame. He's 27 years old. He's got 5 KO wins, 3 submission victories, and 1 decision, or 1 win by decision. So that's 9 total, and 2 losses, 1 by submission, 1 by decision. But here's my thing with Randy Brown. And this is why I'm going to tell everybody to dog on this fight, because I'm pretty sure Mickey Gall's the dog. I haven't even looked, but I'm almost positive.
You're right. Randy Brown's favored slightly, -130. They got Mickey Gall even odds.
I figured it would be like that. But, this is why. Randy Brown is great in spurts. He's super exciting when you see him on his feet, and he's dancing, and he's striking, and he's pulling clinch, and he's putting up his opponents against the cage, and he's using all the range. That is great. I think it works out for him. He took out Brian Camozzi with a knee and punches in the 2nd round. He took out Eric Montano with a guillotine choke in the 3rd. But here's the one thing about Randy Brown is his last fight he lost to Belal Muhammad. Mm-hmm. And processing that, for me, I don't think Mickey Gall would lose to Belal Muhammad. I really don't. I don't even think Muhammad would go 2 rounds with him without getting tapped or a serious beating on the ground. So we have to think about the fundamentals of Mickey Gall when we think about this fight. Mickey Gall understands, and he fights very smart in this aspect. He understands when he's beat on the feet. If a notable win I can just pop off my head, Sage Northcutt. What did he do to Sage? He went, I can't take that. I can't stand with that. And if I can do it in short bursts and let him wear out, with the plan ultimately being I have to take this to the ground, and if I hope to finish or get a win. And I think that in this, no matter which way the outcome comes, I know Mickey Gall's game plan going into this. I don't know Randy Brown's. I would think Randy Brown's is to stand and be fit and comfortable on the feet, but he's also kind of okay at the ground, and he likes to go to the ground sometimes too. And against Mickey, I don't suggest anybody go to the ground. So I don't know. I think I got to go with the game planner here, and the IQ over the athleticism and Muay Thai and huge frame. It could bite me in my ass, but when I hear Budokan, I don't think jiu-jitsu. I don't think wrestling. When I hear Mickey Gall, I think jiu-jitsu. I think body triangle. I think take the game plan away from your opponent, and Mickey's a master at that. I say a master. He only has 4 wins. And I think, 2 in the UFC, 3 in the UFC. But all of them have been finished by rear naked choke, and I think this is going to happen again. I think he's going to make Randy tap with a rear naked.
Well, the guy trains with the Gracies out of New Jersey. And, Mickey Gall, like he said, when I think of Mickey Gall, I think of large-frame jiu-jitsu. And if you get a large-frame guy down that can control you on the ground like a wrestler, but has the submission techniques of the combined with the jiu-jitsu, man, he's deadly. I don't know what this guy, if there's an evolution to Mickey Gall that's happening. Unfortunately, like the fight with CM Punk keeps coming to my mind, where I don't know, the striking was just devastating. I mean, really powerful strikes that stood out in my mind. And took him down at will. But that's CM Punk, who really cares about that? There's not a lot there to judge. The Sage Northcutt, I mean, I don't know. Mickey Gall, I just think was just the better fighter there. Sage hasn't
got destroyed.
Yeah. And again, maybe just on a slightly different level there. You know what I mean? Even though they're both, fairly new to the UFC. I think Mickey looked like he was on another level. So, I like Gall. I've got Mickey Gall. Let's see. I took him by submission in round 2. And
I'm down. I'm good with that. Submission round 2.
Yeah?
Rear naked.
Wow, calling it once again. Being bold.
Being ballsy.
Next fight. Woohoo! This one, I have no idea what's going on. I don't know how to pronounce this dude's name. But he's going against Ion Cutelaba. I really don't know anything about the guy. It's his UFC debut. That's why I don't know that name. Probably, if I would have realized that stood out there, I would have done more homework. Ion Cutelaba, though, this guy is amazing. I really enjoy watching the guy fight. He is very technical in his striking. He's got great kicks. He took Henrique da Silva down in his last fight in June of this year with a win, first round knockout. It was awesome. If you haven't seen it, you should go see it. Before that, he had a loss to Jared Cannonier. He lost that by unanimous decision. That was a tough loss for him. Before that, he had a win over Jonathan Wilson. Before that, it was a loss against Misha Serkinov. So it's been literally loss, win. By the records, he would be due for a loss here. But like I said, since I know nothing about this cat that's coming in, there's just really no information there for me. I've got a little bit on SureDog. But like I said, I don't recognize any of these people that he's fought. So there's nothing I can tell you there. He's on a win streak, I can tell you that much. The dude's got like 9 or 10 wins, I think. So this being his first UFC fight, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm going to go with Cutelaba simply because it's the great unknown, and I know that Cutelaba is going to bring it like he brings it every time. He'll die on the canvas bringing it. So let's just say Cutelaba by decision for me. What are you thinking?
What am I thinking? Unfortunately, I went and watched tape on Michael, and there was a reason this particular fight was put together.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what's really fucked my whole feeling about this fight up is I don't know if the UFC is really trying to bring in the next big exciting knockout artist, because the truth about Michael is if you can just study his tape for 2 minutes and you'll realize he doesn't stop. Like more than Cutelaba, and that scares me.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, he's not as strong. He's not as violent. But the volume, he doesn't stop until you quit.
And he'll leave. How are you thinking? You know, UFC experience as opposed to other leagues.
I went and looked at some of the guys he's knocked out in this other. I mean, granted, they're not UFC fighters, but some of them are undefeated, and he's putting these guys out round one TKOs and round one KOs, and 2 of those guys were undefeated wherever he's fighting for TFL, wherever that is. Oh man, and he's Polish, and we love our Polish fighters because of how tough they are. One's 22, one's 23. Cutelaba's an inch taller. But the thing, talk this out with me here. The thing I don't like about the Hulk, which is Cutelaba, in case y'all didn't know about, if you can't tell by his frame, I think I don't like about it is he gasses out hard. Like, he really, really, really gets sloppy in the 2.5 minute mark of the second round. Like, in all of his fights, his work rate goes down. And is that round and a half of work fucking fired up and ready to knock you out at any given moment? Yeah, but you start to notice he fades so quick. And what I saw with Michael, granted outside of the UFC, what I saw with Michael is it didn't matter what round. He just keeps coming at your head. And I don't know if that's because he hasn't been hit enough or hit hard enough yet to realize maybe that's not the best way of approaching it. But at the same time, if you're a newcomer, that's the type of energy you need to fuel you through a guy like Cutelaba. The other thing I'd like to know before I make my pick is, did Michael take this on short notice?
I have no idea. No idea. But Vegas has Ion Cutelaba -450 and Michael at +325. I don't know if that helps.
Huh. It really doesn't, because the odds are only projecting what we don't know about this guy. And unfortunately, if you do know something about him, you understand that it's a fighter's chance.
Okay. So
it's a fighter's chance.
Are you willing to take it? Bottom line.
Ooh, the biggest underdog of the night. Is he the biggest?
I don't know. We haven't gotten to him yet.
Oh, my God.
It's definitely the biggest so far.
Oh, my God. I'm so torn. I'm so torn on this one.
Take your time.
I'm gonna go Michael.
All right. How you picking it?
Knockout. Knockout round 2.
All right. Moving on. Heavyweight division, Walt Harris versus Mark Godbeer. I think this was the fight that was supposed to go down like a month ago.
I think it was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, was that the one in Japan?
Yeah, no, not Japan. Where was that? I can't remember, but it was like within the last 2 weeks. Poland, that was it.
Why? I don't remember why that got pulled. Somebody got sick or had a virus or something.
Godbeer did, and then Walt Harris took the fight against, who was that? He took the co-main event versus Fabricio Werdum and got put in an armbar in like minutes. So, yeah, but with this fight, I'm gonna go Walt Harris all day. Like I said in the previous podcast, whichever one we did with this fight, Godbeer doesn't have the experience. He's fought Daniel Spitz, and it was a 3-round decision win, and it wasn't pretty. There was nothing that I like about Godbeer. So, yeah, Walt Harris by another KO or TKO.
Yeah, I think we've covered this one before, just recently. So you want to hear what we think, go back and listen to that one for the Poland fight. Or Japan, I'm not sure which one. Either way, you'll see it listed in our comments or in the listing. It'll show. So, Daniel Spitz, I think he just got lucky. Before that, he got the hell beat out of him by Justin Ledet in his first UFC debut. So, yeah, again, just following up on what you said, there's nothing that I like about Godbeer. I'm taking Walt Harris in this one. I think he's just going to outstrike him. The boxer in Walt should be completely on display here. He's got 16
top team wrestling too.
Absolutely, 16 matches. 10 of those are by knockout. Yeah, I'm gonna go Walt. I mean, hell, he knocked out my boy, my vanilla gorilla, Chase Sherman. So, you got to be
he tore Chase up.
You got to be a tank to drop Chase. That's all I know. I've seen enough to be able to tell you that much. So, yeah, I'm going Walt Harris as well. And I've got Walt by knockout TKO round 2.
Come on, go round 1 with me.
No, I think you're going to have to wear, I think you might have to wear Godbeer down just a hair.
I'm going round 1.
All right. Let's see what odds have it. Sure.
It's going to be bad, isn't it?
Yeah, Walt Harris, negative 325.
Oh.
Mark Godbeer, plus 250. So, still, he's not as big of a dog as Michael.
That is not a dog I would take, but I promise you, man, go study some film on Michael. You might like what you see, and it might be worth the dog. I'll be doing it. It might fire back in my face, but
right. All right, well, we're moving on. The next fight, I'm seriously thrilled. I've been waiting for this. It didn't necessarily have to be on this card. I've just been waiting to see James Vick fight again. He's my boy. He's straight out of DFW area. He trains out of Fort Worth and a lot of other gyms. I can tell you a lot about this kid, but just getting right into it. It's James Vick versus the Irish Joe Duffy, and lightweight division. This is a tight matchup, even though I am highly biased for Vick. Duffy brings the kitchen sink. He has got 2 Irish hand grenades for fists, and I am really, really having a tough time. If I had to make money on this one, and I absolutely had to make money, I'm glad I don't have to actually make money on this because everything in me wants James Vick to win this, and I know every part of me says that Joe Duffy obviously is just as capable. So this is a high-level matchup for James Vick. I think another high-level one that comes to mind that we saw him live at was the Paulo Reyes fight, and Vick came out notorious on that one. And, I'm hoping he can do the same here because I love this kid. He's exciting. Tell me what you got to say, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about what I know.
This one's really hard for me, too, because it's our boy, and we love James. And we love the unorthodox, crazy shit he does, hunting, playing with snakes. But he's tall. I like what James brings to the table, man. I just... The film doesn't lie. I believe in that, and I think if you watch film, Joe is the clear. I wouldn't say better fighter, just more experienced, a little more tenacious, knows what he's doing. He's a little more comfortable. He throws his hooks appropriate. That's the thing I don't like about James Vick is as good as his jiu-jitsu, as good as everything on the ground goes for him and all that unorthodox stuff. I still think he can be better on his feet, and maybe he knows that too. I don't know. We'll talk to him about it, but I think that's where Joe takes the fight, at least the advantage in the fight from my perspective. That's where Joe takes it. Is they're about equal on the ground, and Joe's left hook and his right straight are textbook. And those are 2 utensils you need standing up. And if you don't know how to throw those or protect yourself from those, Joe's going to eat your lunch all day. And James being just as long, just as lanky, he exposes a lot of body. What I think the underrated aspect I think that Joe really, really excels in is we always say, go to the body, left hook to the body, left hook to the body. And if you go watch that film, boy, he goes for that body. So I'm going to go Joe here, and I'm going to go Joe by TKO. I don't know what round, though. I want to hear what you have to say before I choose the round.
Well, like I said, I'm not going to take anything away from Joe Duffy. There's no point in that. This is a kid who's been fighting in the UFC since March of 2015. He has 4 wins, 1 loss in his UFC record. But these weren't, in my opinion, these weren't big names. I've been impressed with him. I mean, he's a great striker. He's really, really well-rounded. I mean, the guy's got two different degree belts, 1 black, 1 purple, from 2 different masters in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So, you know, this kid's got a great ground game too. I can't take anything away from Duffy. I mean, I think this can absolutely, I think it shows. The Vegas odds, I don't know if I already said that or not, but Duffy is negative 185, Vick at plus 150. So it's not a huge, you know, break up there, but I'm anxious to see how that winds down closer to fight night. Vick, I think he's a good dog here. You know, Vick is, let me tell you what I do know about this guy, because I've been following him for a while. First of all, he's different from a lot of fighters in the sense that he's really serious. Like, when it comes to fighting, it's his life. It's everything about him. It's what he does. What he does in his spare time, you already mentioned it. The guy likes to hunt. Every time I see a picture of him posted on Instagram, he's probably out shooting hogs. You know, the guy, he's an outdoorsman. I love it. If you're out there, James, and you happen to hear this, I contacted you once before. I said I'd take you fishing over here on Lake Levant on my boat if you'd take me hog hunting. So, or maybe we can just get together and shoot the shit. But yeah, he's not a big drinker. He says he only drinks, you know, a couple times a year, if that. Just a clean guy, you know. He's all about the game. You know, this is his life, and there's nothing you can take away when it comes to the fight game. Another thing that I really love about him is that he jumps around from gym to gym. Like, he's not focused at any one place. I think he says he's got a home base gym, but for the most part, he's testing his game in all different aspects. So he'll go to a gym where he thinks he's got the best wrestling coach. He'll go to another gym to get the best jiu-jitsu. Go to another gym where he thinks he's getting the best striking skills. And he mixes it up, you know. And then as it comes closer towards game time, he gets focused and narrows it down to 1 or 2 gyms. And like I said, I like the guy. Everything I see about him, I follow him. I listen to. He's a really, really good analyst, fight analyst too. He seems to call a lot of the same fights the way I see it. So I think we have a lot. You know, we look at the fight game very similar. Anyways, just seems like a great guy. I know I've said it enough. I sound like I'm kissing his ass. But again, I think he's a really cool dude. I wish there were more guys that were like him. He's a real humble fighter in loss and in win. And you got to love that about him too. Again, me being biased, there's nothing I can do. I'm taking James Vick by decision. So I hope he gets the job done, man, because this one's going to test you, brother. But just know that we'll be rooting you on here in the house. Even though Scott Don is betting Duffy, I guarantee he's gonna be pulling for you.
That's 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, and the other thing is, I really like what James does. I like his fighting style. I just think that there's just a little more development needed on the feet. And if put it this way, if he had Joe's striking potential, and I saw that and I felt that, I would pick James all day. But it's the one characteristic where you see a clear differentiation between one fighter and another, and sometimes that's what gets exposed. So we'll see. I mean, who knows? For all I know, Vick could come out there and look like a karate specialist. So we don't really know anything until it happens.
Well, I guess one person we should ask sometime what he thinks about James striking is Marco Polo.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think he thought that James was going to be bringing it the way he did either.
He didn't think that was going to happen.
Right. So, yeah. So, hopefully we'll be coming back here talking about yet another win from a boy. Moving on into the middleweight division, we've got Johnny Hendricks versus Paulo Borrachina. You want to go?
Yeah, I'll just say Paulo Borrachina knockout round 1.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I went round 2. I'm playing it safe, but I did go knockout TKO Borrachina round 2. I think Johnny Hendricks, we talk about that backslide a lot. There's really not any point in getting into the history of Johnny Hendricks.
There's really not. Just go look.
That's right. I mean, the guy, his fight career stands for itself. He will fight anybody, just about anybody, anywhere, anytime. He says it, he will, as long as he's healthy enough to do it. He's not afraid of anybody. Former champion himself. Yeah, man, it's really hard, actually, to find myself in a position to have to bet against him. But Borrachina, good Lord, this Brazilian is, he's something, man. That his hands are overwhelming bricks of steel when they connect. I've been shocked at how devastating his punches are. His striking gets better and better. Dude's had 10 matches, 10 wins, 9 knockouts, 1 by submission. And you know what? The name's right off the bat. This is only his 3rd fight in the UFC, but you know, McClellan. How do you say that the African guy?
Bangbosa.
Yeah, is it Bangbosa? Bambosi?
Something like that.
Anyways, yeah, dude, both of those big, huge TKOs. You know, first one with McClellan in round 1, Bangbosa, whatever you want to call him, in round 2. The guy is just he's powerful. That's all I can tell you. I'm with you, man. I think it's going to be a knockout, no matter how we slice and dice that one.
I got to add this note though. If you're betting on Johnny, or if your heart's invested in Johnny, whatever it be, and my heart is definitely not with Johnny in this fight. My heart was with Johnny 10 fights ago. You know, but if it is, you better hope he is going for the takedown, because there's no chance in hell you're going 3 rounds with Costa on the feet. Like, I'm just putting that out there. I don't care how strong you are, how long you've been doing this or that. You don't want to stand with this kid on the feet. So if Hendricks wants to win this, and who knows, maybe he will, he's going to have to do it with wrestling and takedowns. But once again, this is where my IQ comes in. Borrachina has Brazilian fundamentals because it's embedded. He's Brazilian. So he grew up doing what? You know, so I don't know. That could definitely help against a wrestler of Johnny Hendricks' caliber, which is only more of a reason why I feel safe going Borrachina.
Well, you know, usually Johnny Hendricks, Big Rig, is usually the bigger man. And in this instance, he is not. Paulo is not only taller, he's got a longer reach in this exchange. I don't know, man. I feel bad for Hendricks because I just see another bruising coming. I think it's lights out, and I feel bad because Johnny, I really feel like he's on the back swing, and I want to see him get out before he gets hurt.
Me too.
You know, that would be nice. Paulo -225, Johnny Hendricks +175 Vegas odds.
Throw Paulo in all of your parlays.
Absolutely. I mean, really and truly. I mean, you're looking for a beat down. Here it comes. So, next fight, welterweight division. Steven Wonderboy Thompson versus Jorge Masvidal. I mean, here we go. The last 4 fights on this card. If what we haven't already talked about, if something hasn't tickled your fancy, these last 4 fights, there's something in it for everyone. Males, females, wrestlers, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, strikers, boxers. It's all there. It's all wrapped up in, and we really don't have to spend a lot of time with these. They're all huge names, so we can really kind of just get into what we feel, what we think about these guys as fighters, And you do the math yourself. We'll give you our picks as always. But,
share your math as well, please. We want to know who you got with these 4 fights because these are fucking crazy.
Absolutely. We haven't talked about this, so I don't know what you've got. What your pick is. I have got Stephen Thompson by decision.
Yeah, talk that out to me. This is my most unsure fight of the card.
Well, here it is. This one is not. I'm not for sure on this. This comes back to kind of just a gut feeling here after looking at where things stand. I think Stephen Thompson gave Tyron Woodley probably the best run for his money that he's had thus far for the belt. Super impressed with the guy. And I wasn't really on his bandwagon until that fight. That fight put me over the edge. He's so well-rounded, it's not even funny. I mean, the guy's he's a 6th-degree black belt in Kempo, 1st-degree black belt in Jiu-Jitsu, a black belt in American kickboxing, a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under another master. 16 fights total, 13 wins, 7 by knockout, 1 by submission. He's a kickboxing phenom. He had an amazing career as a kickboxer. And now he's here in the UFC. He's had what? God, he's been in the UFC since 2012 now. And he literally only has 2 losses in the UFC. All the rest are wins. And he's just got 1 draw with Tyron Woodley. So, we got to see that rematch with Woodley. And like I said, it went all 5 rounds. Majority decision for Woodley, but undeniably, in my opinion, has given Woodley the best run for his money. Like I said, all the names underneath him, big wins, TKOs, knockouts. Rory McDonald by unanimous decision, knocked out Johnny Hendricks, who we were just talking about, knocked out Jake Ellenberger, oh my God, unanimous decision over Patrick Cody, knocked out Robert Whittaker. I mean, come on.
In the first round.
Dude, I can go on and on. This guy is so impressive. There's just no need for me to just kind of say that I'm not on his bandwagon anymore. Jorge Masvidal, exciting fighter. Dude's got everything going for him. This is, again, one of those situations where I say to myself, you can pick either one. I can't argue with your decision. If you want Masvidal, fine. Guy's training out of America Top Team. Awesome boxer. Excuse me, amazing wrestling. Again, another kickboxer. Masvidal's got an impressive record going himself. Nothing to take away from him. He himself has been fighting in the UFC since what? 2013. So both of these guys, veterans in the sport. Look at all these matches. 44 professional fights, Masvidal. 32 wins, 12 losses. 13 of those fights by knockout. 17 of them by decision. So, those numbers tell the tale for me when it came to Stephen Thompson, and it just kind of leaned the other way. I'm saying strategically by the numbers, Stephen Thompson should take this. And if Masvidal does win, I'm thinking he has to take it by decision. And I don't see that happening. So, what are your thoughts?
I don't know. I'm really fighting childhood here because I grew up watching Jorge and doing the backyard brawls at 19, and I think I was like 13, 14, watching those videos, him fighting on the streets with Kimbo, winning money, doing bare knuckling it out against guys like twice as big as him, and he never gave up. Like every time he loses, it's by decision. His last 9 losses have been by decisions. Or his last 6 fights he's lost by decision, which means he's going to hang in there. You can't take him out. He can take you out. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This one's just so weird because Masvidal has 9 decision losses, which is overwhelmingly how he loses. But then get this, Thompson has 2 decision losses, and that's how he overwhelmingly loses.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't get a read here on what's the weakness because both guys lose by decision, meaning one's got to turn up to take it either A, by knockout, or B, by decision, because I don't really think a submission is going to happen in this fight, which is what makes it very different from the Tyron Woodley fight with the wrestling pedigree, the top team. But that's the other aspect that freaks me out, because Tyron Woodley's at ATT and Jorge Masvidal is at ATT. Mm-hmm. And ATT developed, obviously, the game plan to beat Stephen Thompson, and they executed it twice, and Woodley was just robbed that first fight. But, I think Woodley won both fights, and they have a clear idea of how to beat Thompson in 5 rounds. But this is a 3-round fight. So I'm everywhere with this fight. I really am. I'm going to go Thompson.
Stephen Thompson is -175 Vegas odds. Jorge Masvidal +145, so slight advantage as well there.
I'm going Thompson, but I'm leaving this out. I'm not messing with this fight in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, too close to call, huh?
Seriously, I mean, these guys, one's 5'11", the other one's 6 foot. One's 34, the other one I think is 32. One has more KOs than the other, but the other one has more submission wins. I mean, more decision wins. One's a karate specialist, and the other one's a boxing specialist with wrestling. I just don't know. I would like to think Thompson's technical side and his precision and his accuracy takes over. But at the same time, if you look at Masvidal, it's not like he's inaccurate. It's not like he's not thought out, and he's a game-bred, born-bred fighter. That you cannot take that away from him, win or lose. And you could argue he beat Damian Maia back in Dallas. We were there, so you could have argued he won that. So I don't know. I'm gonna go Thompson just because of statistics and and technical. But I don't know, man. This fight's just got me so confused.
That's okay. Just stay excited about it, man, because it's going to be a banger for sure. This fight,
awesome.
This fight for me is this is going to be my pick for performance of the night. I know there's a lot of great fights even still to come. However, remember that, okay? And if you write that fight down and put it in your comments section, this is a 2010. Let me get it real close there. A 2010. Signed Michael Bisping UFC Tops card, okay? And I'm going to give that to some lucky person. All you got to do is write down what my pick here was for the fight of the night. Just put fight of the night and then put Thompson Masvidal, and I'll put you in for a drawing. And fight night, I'll do a drawing. We'll pick somebody from the comment section, and I'll contact you, and we'll send you the card, okay?
We'll put your name in a drawing.
Yeah. You'll be entered in a drawing, sorry. Okay, so here we go. Women's strawweight division. First belt of the night out of 3 up for grabs. Joanna Jedrzejczyk versus Rose Namajunas. Let me tell you something. This is going to be all the hype. It's a 5-rounder, of course, for the belt. And you've got the best, arguably the best female fighter in MMA ever, in Joanna, to ever step into the cage. And she is looking to, I think, make history with yet another win.
She'll tie Demetrius Johnson.
Yeah, and let me tell you, that is no small feat by any means. You know, there's a lot of hype around Rose, Thug Rose. She has impressed me so much, watching her progress, watching her evolve. Man, she is just, she's a zombie. When she comes in, she fights emotionless. She usually has a big emotional dump at the end of the fight, and it's usually worth it because she stays concentrated, she stays focused, she's very technical, she is an amazing Brazilian jiu-jitsu artist. She seems to be improving all the time. Her strikes have even begun to show improvement there as well. She's going to give Joanna a run for her money, but again, we come back to levels. Joanna is at the top, okay? Rose has got to be somewhere down below that. I don't care how we slice and dice it. You can say Rose did this, Rose did that, she's capable of this. Yes, she is. But has she seen the likes of what Joanna brings to the table? She's at a level that has yet to be really outdone in any way. She finds a way to take your weakness and work it against you. She takes your strengths, uses it to her advantage in many cases. And, yeah, man, all I can say is Joanna, until she proves me wrong. I've got Joanna by decision, simply because that seems to be the way she's been winning a lot of her fights lately. So Rose is not going to give up unless she's put in a heavy submission. And, yeah, man, I think she's definitely got 5 rounds in her. She's got great cardio. So Rose could definitely go all 5, I think. That won't be an issue. And that's how I came to that decision. What are you thinking?
I'm going to go back on our discussion last weekend. I was really worried about Rose as I watched film study because I wasn't watching Joanna. I wasn't looking at her levels. I was just more living in the fascination with what Thug has to bring to the table. Mm-hmm. And I got caught up in the perception of, oh, shit, I love women's jiu-jitsu. Like, you know my theory. Take away the game plan, and what's the word I always use? I can't remember it. Neutralize. Mm-hmm. Rose is a neutralizer, and she's also an opportunist. And I kind of fell in love with those things last weekend. And then you run the tape of Joanna, mm-hmm. and then, Joanna, you're right. There's no other way to put it. The levels, you're not going to get her on the ground, and if you do, she's going to get up. I've never seen anybody just hold her on the ground. Have you? I can't think of anybody.
No.
Not even the best wrestlers in the game and jiu-jitsu artists. Andrade, Godalia, Letourneau,
right.
Penne, Esparza, Godalia. They all tried. You can't keep the chick on the ground. She's out of American Top Team, best gym in the world right now. I will say this, and I will say it confidently, and if it comes back, then y'all can call me a jackass, but I think Joanna will have her most decisive win yet.
Wow.
I think that she's going to tear Rose apart. And
well, there's definitely some animosity building there. I've seen all the reports that say Joanna is ready to shut Rose down. So she is favored heavily, -500. She usually is. Rose is plus 350, heavy underdog. However, there's nothing to say that Rose can't pull some crazy submission, and like you said, she's an opportunistic fighter. And if something should happen, she could pull something crazy on the ground. Should it go there? Should she wind up on top? There's a lot to be said there, because if not, you'd be saying that she had no game. And she does, clearly. This is a huge step, in my opinion. I don't know. I've heard a couple people say this fight totally made sense, yada, yada. But once again, I don't think Rose is there yet. So I just talk about the levels. I'm just saying Rose isn't quite there yet. And I'm not saying she won't be. I'm pro Thug. She's all that in a bag of chips.
She's developing.
She is. She's evolving. She's developing. And we're seeing that. The evolution of Rose is great. Is she there yet, though? No, I don't think so, man. And we'll come back. Maybe she'll prove us wrong. Maybe we'll walk in there and go, oh, my God.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I think the appropriate fight dynamic that you gotta, when you study tape on Rose and you compare it to Joanna, what I found myself mentally doing, and let me know if you did the same, is I kept going into these if scenarios. Well, shit, what if Rose, if she gets her to the ground, what happens?
Mm-hmm. She got to keep her there.
Yes. If she can put her against the fence and use her size advantage somehow, if that happens, what happens? And you shouldn't go into any fight, even calling a fight, if you're iffing. Mm-hmm. you should know that about somebody. And Rose, there's not a precise game plan. Does she pull off a lucky submission when she gets it? Yes. Does she do it every time? No. Does she lose fights because she's not the most active fighter and she's not that great on her feet? Yeah. Did she have a great, awesome, opportunistic head kick in Michelle Waterson?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. She
Deadly.
took the opportunity to do that. But at the same time, Joanna, you get no opportunity.
She did show in that fight that her striking is improving vastly. You know, she followed that kick up with it. She slipped to the right, just right behind that, and jumped right on Michelle. You know, didn't hesitate. I love that killer instinct. You know, that's Joanna. Joanna takes full advantage of every opportunity she sees, because she's on that level IQ. That IQ level is high. So yeah, man. I mean, she's just not there yet. But again, I think the odds definitely reflect that in Vegas right now. So we move on. That's the first of the 3 belts on the card. The next belt on the line is with Cody Garbrandt, current bantamweight champion, taking on former champion TJ Dillashaw. Why don't you go first, buddy?
Awesome. I'd love to go first. Actually, you go first on this one. I'll go first on the next one. I got to support my boy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is the most difficult one for me. Actually, you texted me earlier today and you said, I'm struggling with a fight. And I wanted to send back, man, it has to be this one. It has to be this one, or it's the Masvidal fight. And sure enough, you came back and said it was the Thompson
Masvidal.
I knew it was one of the two. I did. I should have hedged my bet there. But yeah, no, I'm going Cody Garbrandt. Again, we don't have to go into deep. You want to know what you want to know about these guys, go look. Garbrandt started as a boxer. Started working with Team Alpha Male, so he's improved his wrestling, jiu-jitsu. He's really, really great at defending the takedown. I could go on, except to tell you that he's the champ for a reason. I mean, he beat Dominic Cruz by unanimous decision. That's right, undefeated at that. 11 wins, 9 by knockout, 2 by decision. Here's what you get with Garbrandt. You get the mentality of a champion who does not know defeat. He does not know what it is to lose. And I assure you, he has no intentions of letting Dillashaw take his belt. You know, not saying that any champ goes into it thinking they will. I'm just saying that Garbrandt, I mean, this guy there's no way in hell in his mind he can even fathom the idea of TJ Dillashaw coming in and taking that belt from him. Them being former teammates, there's a lot of history there. The drama is real. The whole team seems to hate TJ now. Team Alpha Male's got it out for Dillashaw for running off with Craig Ludwig off to Colorado to do his own thing. And then he lost the belt. And now he's out there, I'm sure, just wants redemption. But yeah, what can you say, man? Dillashaw wasn't able to beat Dominic Cruz. And Garbrandt did. So I'm not saying Dillashaw can't do this. It's well within his ability to pull some. I mean, this guy's an amazing fighter. I could stroke on Dillashaw just as much. That guy was a true champion as well. Black belt in Muay Thai, under Dwayne Ludwig at that. Blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under Felipe Monaca. He is a NCAA Division I wrestling champion. Total 17 fights under his belt, 14 wins, 3 losses, 6 by knockout, 3 by submission, 5 by decision. His last win was in December of 2016 over John Lineker. That was a banger. 3 rounds of nonstop action, and he won that by unanimous decision. And let me tell you, Lineker is no easy win by any means. Dilla Dong really surprised me in that fight. He took it up a level. Before that, he had a win over Rafael Assunção, and then a loss to Dominic Cruz before that. That was back in January of 2016. Before that, he was on a run. You know, he had the belt, defeating Barao. He beat Joe Soto. Dude, the names, it just goes on and on. He is a champion. By no means am I meaning to say anything bad about Dillashaw. I just think that Cody Garbrandt is going to get the better of him. And I'm not going to even say Cody Garbrandt's the better fighter. You know, I just think that Cody Garbrandt is he's a finisher. He's vicious. If he gets you, he attacks. That's all there is to it. He's a precision striker. He blows me away with his accuracy. And yeah, that's where I'm going. I'm taking Garbrandt by TKO or knockout in round 3. How you see it?
I actually see it the same TKO, the same round.
Wow.
Yeah, but you took away my one point. And my one point was, and I got to highlight it because you said it, it is TJ got beat by, got his ass tore up by Dominic Cruz. And Dominic Cruz beat him with movement that fight. The ability to stay out of the way, duck the shots, and pick the stronger, faster fighter down. And sure enough, he executed round by round. Thing that's a little bit different in this fight compared to Dom is you're not fighting a brainiac. You're fighting someone who's not going to give you even any time to think. Mm-hmm. It's almost the opposite. And that's what affected Dom so bad is you can only IQ your way out of so many situations before the great ape shows up and is ready to tear down your fucking house, and there's nothing you can do about it. And that's who Cody is in this division. He's undefeated. The ability to have that much knockout power in your hands is unheard of for that division. The only guy that even comes close and isn't even on the same level is John Lineker. Mm-hmm. So to do what he's doing and to be where he's at and have his, I think he's an undefeated Ohio State wrestling All-American. TJ can't get him on the ground. TJ's not going to beat him striking wise. TJ has to become Dominic Cruz again. And I don't like TJ fighting as Dominic Cruz. Because although it's his movement about as good as it gets, yeah, I would say TJ Dillashaw has better movement than Cody. But strength, explosiveness, animal instinct, the ability to just not understand or not even ever come to terms with I'm losing or I lost a round. It doesn't happen to Cody G. It doesn't. And he's a man, and any man can get knocked out, but I don't think TJ's your answer in this one because of the animosity built around it. Cody's not getting in there to dance around. TJ is going to have to dance. You can't stand in front of a fucking Mack truck. So I don't know. I have to go Cody because unless TJ and his camp have another plan that I'm not thinking of or that I'm not aware of, you can't stand in front of Cody. And I have a weird feeling that they might tell TJ, go show him what you got. Yeah. Show him. And if that's the case, then Cody's going to show. TJ won't. So I feel good with Cody here. Not overconfident, but I just feel good.
Well, that's kind of how I feel. I mean, there's nothing saying that it can't be done, but at the same time, it hasn't been done yet. So I'm going to ride that train as long as I can. Vegas odds have Cody Garbrandt at -185. TJ's at +150. So that pretty much kind of leans on just about how we called that there, I think.
I thought -150 was better back earlier in the week, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. All right, the next belt we have on the line, we've been waiting a long time. I know you're going to kick this off for me. We've got the middleweight belt, the champion, Michael Bisping, taking on who? Oh, that's right, George St. Pierre. He comes out of nowhere after 4-year layoff, dusts off his shiny traps, and decides he's going to jump up a full weight class, 15 pounds heavier, and take on Michael Bisping, the Count. Go ahead, bud. Tell me what you think.
All right. You want to know what I think?
Yeah, I know what you think.
You're looking at your champion, baby. Always and forever. Till we die. And still. Mike the Count, baby. That's what's going to happen. And all you GSP dick riders that I get to have comments and comment wars and battles with online, I can't wait. I can't wait to laugh at your sobbing, crying, messy asses after this fight. I assure you, even if Mike loses, he's not going to cry. GSP's going to cry.
Ooh.
You know.
You want to put money on that?
Yeah. No, I'm not going to put money on the Kira part. But I'll put money on the knockout. I think Bisping knocks out GSP. And I get it. GSP's a legend. Former UFC champion. I don't think he was ever beat with the belt. I think he retired with the belt, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think he did. Yeah, you know, your style worked. Your style worked through 2009 to 2013. It's 2017, homeboy. Your last fight was against Johnny Hendricks, and you went 5 rounds with fucking Johnny Hendricks.
Yeah, he got the hell beat out of him in that fight. However, he does have the second longest combined title streak in UFC history.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I understand BJ Penn's on there in 2009. I understand Carlos Condit in 2012.
It's a new world, bro. It's a
I
new
get
world.
Nick Diaz in 2013. I get all this shit, but I think even Nick Diaz and Johnny Hendricks and Carlos Condit, all these guys that didn't fucking retire, would tell you this is a new sport, and whatever you did back then is 5 times faster and bigger and stronger now.
Yeah.
So to get in and come back as your first match and fight the champion, and I keep hearing, this is another point, I keep hearing there's a 2-year age difference, and GSP, you know, with the TriStar athleticism, man, I think that really plays a factor. What the fuck are you talking about? It's a 2-year age difference over a 4-year layoff. Mike has fought consecutively. Anybody who wanted to fight with him, let's see, the biggest gap he's gone. Oh, get this. He's gone no gaps. He's fought every year since 2004. He's fought multiple fights every year. And we're in 2017. So I don't get it. I don't get where the hype's coming from. I think at one point GSP was on top of the game, and we hated to admit that. But I'm not afraid to admit what he was anymore. But what are you now? And how do, after a 4-year layoff at anything, how do you come in and now you're the top contender for the belt? I'm mind blown. I'm shocked. I think Mike's being disrespected. But I also think Mike's going to make a payday off of GSP's head, and I can't wait to get it taken off. So,
well, why don't you tell me how you really feel?
Right? Yeah.
So how are you calling this?
Bisping TKO round 1. I'm gonna go round 1 because GSP doesn't know.
I love how bold you've been lately. Yeah, man, I've got Bisping knockout TKO round 2. So we're pretty close on those. I like the sound of that one. Yeah, there's a special ring to the words when I just hear them in my head, and still middleweight champion of the world. And that's what I'm looking forward to hearing. I really am. I've never been a St. Pierre fan. We were talking earlier, and I'm serious when I say I don't want to disrespect the guy, because he is a respectful, gracious guy. It's hard not to like him as a fighter. I hate listening to him. I can't stand his voice. He has no trash talk game to save his life.
Are you authenticated? Are you authenticated, Michael? Are you authenticated?
But wait, I am the best.
I am the best.
I am the best.
I am the best.
Yeah, no, I can't. I've never been a fan, and I don't want to beat him up, and I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the dude that's like calling him names or anything like that, because I think he is due the respect that he should be entitled to as a former champion. Until you can prove anything after a 4-year layoff, coming into a weight class that you were in untested waters, and then on top of that, literally saying that you're going to, like, hurt Bisping. Like knock him out even, I think is what he said. I don't know. Go out and prove it, and we'll talk. I think when we come back on our next show, we'll be talking about how Bisping beat his ass. And if we're not, then I guess we got a whole lot more to talk about, right? Because if he comes in there and he whoops his ass, I don't really want to hear the name GSP anymore. I mean, go back to retirement.
Right. When your last finish is in 2009 and it's against an old beat-up BJ Penn, I'm mind blown. I'm boggled at where these GSP fans are coming from. I'm serious.
Well, let me boggle your mind a little more. Vegas actually has St. Pierre slightly favored at -125.
Right, because all of Canada just put their fucking tax returns on this fucking fight, and it's because he's Canadian. I swear to God, I have no idea where this comes from. I get it. You were great. Where have you been? And I love Mike's whole point about that. I never quit. I was here before you, and I'm still here after you. Yeah. And what makes you think you're going to come in and take that from me? I don't get it. I don't get it.
Well, I'm excited, man. I mean, just the last 4 fights on that card alone, seriously, the main card, this is just one of those fantasy type events. Don't miss it. If you've made it this far and you're still listening and you're even considering not getting this fight, don't be ignorant. Like, order the fight, okay? Either that or go up to Buffalo Wild Wings or something where you can watch it for free. But don't miss this fight, man, and get there early if that is your plan.
Right. Don't be a dick. Don't miss this.
Yeah, don't. So, yeah, man. So I guess we'll wrap that up. Just saying we're looking forward to great things. I can't wait already just to come back here and talk about what happened. You know, and that's exciting. So we will jump into our post-fight analysis for Fight Night 119, Brunson versus Machida, last Saturday, October 28th in Brazil. And, man, oh, man. We'll just start real quick at the bottom. We had...
With the Brazilian robbery? Is that what you want to start with? Is that what you said?
Well, you know what? I think 9 Brazilians end up with wins out of a card of 12. So, yeah, I guess some had to go that way. At the same time, 2 of the main events, both Brazilians got shut out. But, yeah, anyways, the first fight of the night was Marcelo Gomes against Christian Colombo. It was Marcelo Gomes' UFC debut. We both called for a win there to start the night off, and we both did get it. Yeah, Gomes was impressive, man. He just rushed right on out there and destroyed Colombo. Like I felt bad for Colombo. I really did.
There's nothing else to be said about this one. Gomes fucked Colombo's world up, and Colombo knew that after the fight. He told him I think that's probably your last fight in the UFC right there.
Yeah. Seeing that boy's head bounce off the mat was sad. I mean, it really was. It hurt me to see that. You know, in the heavyweight division, dude, you get those hands come down and bounce your head, and oh, good Lord.
Yeah. Good
Lord. So, yeah, and then he just finished it up with that submission, and just, that was it. The next fight was Davison Figueiredo versus Jared Brooks. And yes, when you talk about a robbery, that's the only way I can describe this fight.
Yeah, Jared Brooks dominated every round. I don't know how many takedowns the kid had. Probably 3 or 4 in the first, 3 or 4 in the second, and maybe 2 in the last. Maintained control. Got a little bit tired near the end of each round, but that's because you're doing so much in 5 minutes with the wrestling and doing so much ground control. Brazil fucked Jared Brooks and his win on this. And I think Jared was undefeated. Oh my God, that's his first loss in.
Well, check this out. One of the refs got it right. had it 27-30. Jared Brooks. The other two refs had it 29-28. I don't know, man. It blew me away. And 29-28 in Figueiredo's favor. Were we watching the same fight? Because seriously, those judges had to have been taking some cheap Brazilian pharmaceuticals.
Once again, man, I don't. You got to be careful when you bet in Brazil, and I'm officially going to go on record saying this. Like, don't feel confident with Americans that rely on decisions and rely on wrestling in Brazil, because they don't give a fuck. They really, really don't. Go watch this fight and tell me if you can somehow score a round for Figueiredo. I don't know what round that would have been, and I don't know what he would have done to even remotely get close to taking a round. So, but you're right. One judge had it 30-27, Jared Brooks, which tells you he dominated, and then the other fights, or the other referee somehow get it 29-28.
Yeah.
Figueiredo, yeah, I'm not buying it.
Yeah, I'm not either. Crazy, crazy stuff going on there. So, yeah, that about put us in a tailspin, let me tell you.
We freaked the fuck out.
I really did. I was so worried about how the rest of the night was going to go. So, anyways.
We did well on this card. So, Jared Brooks, had he won that, which he did, had he won that officially, we would have made thousands.
Oh yeah, it was on. That one blew it. That one blew it, and there was one other one, and we'll get to that in just a minute. So after that fight, we had Zaleski dos Santos versus Max Griffin in the welterweight division. Dos Santos won that by unanimous decision, and that was a tight one for me. It turned out to be the fight of the night.
Yeah, that was a really good fight. I think Dos Santos got dropped and Max Griffin got straightened out and stiffened out for like 2 rounds straight. Just the dude was fighting, wobbling everywhere. Oh, and that was the other thing we didn't mention. Referees weren't calling shit. Like, Dos Santos put it on Max Griffin's face for, I don't know, probably 20 punches straight.
It was horrible.
And the ref is just kicking back like, okay.
9 times out of 10, that fight's called. In
America, in the States, that would have been called by the 5th punch. This Brazilian referee.
Seriously, and Dos Santos was looking numerous times, looking at the ref like, seriously, how many times are you going to let me beat him in the face? I mean, really. I mean, it blew me away. But we knew we were in for a ride there. Dos Santos obviously had that. But again, we were worried there at the end. I remember us thinking, oh, God, it's going to the judges again.
Yep.
And so, yeah, man, I see you yawning there, man. It's been a long week, huh?
It's been a long
a long week already. Hey, happy Halloween to everybody out there. It is Halloween. And I want to say I should have started the night off by saying our condolences go out to all those who lost loved ones with the recent tragedy in Manhattan today. That another jackass terrorist ran over a bunch of people with a U-Haul truck, and had a lot of deaths out there. So I know a lot of people are mourning. A lot of people are hurt. I think they said there were 2 people. One of them was shot and killed on site, and the other guy they have in custody. So at least, again, maybe things are safe out there, but definitely had you in our thoughts all day, and I feel for everybody that is having to deal with that crazy shit in America.
Right.
So, yeah, the next fight after that one, here we go. Hakran Diaz versus Jared Gordon, lightweight division. Gordon won that by unanimous decision.
Another fight where Gordon's beating the shit out of Hakran Diaz, looking at the ref like, are you going to call this?
Yeah.
And ref let it go another 2 rounds. I don't know.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Good win for us, and
definitely
great win for Jared. But once again, shit night for Hakran.
Well, at that point, we should have been 4-0.
Right there, should have been 4-0 for the night.
So yeah, we were both of us 3-1 at that point. Next fight that came up was Antonio Carlos Jr. versus Jack Marshman. And
I called the choke.
Yeah, you sure did, dude. You called that one precisely. We both called it in Carlos Jr.'s favor, and we both got that one as a win. Carlos Jr. won by first round submission, rear naked choke, like you said, just the way you called it. I called it in round 2. Either way, we both got the win on that one. Poor Jack Marshman did not know what hit him. The next fight was Nico Price versus Vicente Luque. Welterweight division. Luque won by second-round submission with the Darce choke. And I'm just going to say, I don't know what shell of a man showed up in the body of Nico Price, but I've never been so let down in I can't tell you how long by a fighter that just I don't know who that guy was. And it would happen the one time that I bet on Nico, and he comes out
in Brazil.
he comes out and literally just I don't even know who the hell that guy was. It was ridiculous. I'm embarrassed for you, Nico. I hope this gets back to you because you should be embarrassed by your performance. I don't know, man. I don't even know what to say. Vicente Luque, way to go.
Right. Just an embarrassing performance by Nico Price. And you're right. I mean, and this isn't meant in any offense, but you should be definitely like looking at yourself in the mirror going, who showed up that night? And like we were seriously having conversations in the moment. Like I remember in the middle of the first round, we were going, is Nico paid? Was he paid off?
I was waiting for you to finish because I was going to say the same thing. You know, it's embarrassing, and I know you said no offense. Take offense to that, Nico. I literally had to question whether or not your dumbass was being paid off. But that's how shitty of a performance that you put up. And then how quickly you were to drop to the ground and tap out.
He tapped like a bitch, too.
So, yeah, man, I hope you do take offense to it, dude. And I hope it ruffles your feathers, and I hope you dig down deep and find the warrior that I've seen you be in the past, because whoever showed up in Brazil, like I said, I don't know who the hell that guy was, but
y'all, if you were watching the fight, Nico, you know one thing about Nico is he comes forward, he's right in your face, you get no time to breathe. If y'all go watch this fight, from the first tick of the clock, Nico's stepping backwards.
Yep.
And like we were like, okay, well, what's the game plan? Is he trying to gas Luque out?
Right.
What's happening? And then you started realizing he's not coming forward, like at all. And he's gassing out, running from Luque.
Yeah.
And you're like, since when? Since when does Nico not come right at you or try to take you down or try to get you in the dirty clinch or against the cage? Like, when does this motherfucker ever go backwards? And the whole fight, I mean, seriously. I'm so happy he got choked the fuck out.
Yeah, me too. He deserved it.
Happened.
Well, he's got something to prove next fight to me, because I'm anxious to see who the hell that guy is that shows up next time. Next fight was John Lineker versus Marlon Vera. Mr. Cheeto unfortunately took a loss by unanimous decision to Lineker. Yeah, it was a tough one, man, because Marlon really put up a tough fight, but he was just outclassed. He was outboxed. We've talked about the levels, and Cheeto just showed everything that we've talked about. That defines levels. John... I'm surprised he didn't get the knockout. I really am, because he was laying some... It just shows the jaw on Marlon, though, because, man, he took some devastating shots and was able to counter, a few heavy shots himself. But, man, it takes more than that to drop Lineker. And, Marlon couldn't get Lineker down to save his life either.
I'll be dead honest. Had this fight gone 2 more rounds, Cheeto was going to win.
Yeah, because he was gassing Lineker out.
John, I mean, in a 3-round fight, he gasses so hard.
Yeah, because he gives it everything he's got. He goes full blast.
Yeah, so I think that's an important note to jot down for John Lineker is after a round and a half, you see depletion. And, like, he really has to start digging deep to swing with those big shots. Whereas Cheeto, 3 rounds straight, didn't look like anything changed.
Yeah.
He stayed sharp, he stayed precise, but the thing that we talked about in this fight, which is why I had to go away from my boy Cheeto, and I'm sorry for your loss, by the way, buddy, but the difference was John Lineker's just raw, tenacious power, and that's what won him a round and a half, and then the back half of that fight was definitely going Cheeto's direction. I started seeing Lineker actually taking steps backwards away from him. But I'm sure that was more because of gas than damage. But it's important to note for both fighters that Marlon, I mean, I think this kid can go 5. If he gets a main event, he can do it. But good win on John.
Yeah.
And good call by us. And the next one's a good call by you.
The next one is Thiago Santos versus Jack Hermansson. And, oh my God, man, Santos shocked the hell out of me. Coming out and, just giving a blistering beating to Jack. Won that first round TKO. It just shocked everybody, I think, because I don't think anybody saw Hermansson taking a knockout first round.
I didn't. When it happened, I was like, okay, all right, Thiago's real.
Yeah.
All right. No doubting.
I had it round 2. I think that's how I called it. But, yeah, man, way to go, Santos. Wow. Showed us probably some of the heaviest hands in the middleweight division.
He's a force.
He's a force. He's coming. He's coming. That's all I can tell you there. The next one was Francisco Trinaldo versus Jim Miller. And this was a banger, 3-round banger. Trinaldo ended up winning by unanimous decision, but Jim Miller gave it hell. He just couldn't get the better of Trinaldo.
Nope, same classic example of Jim Miller. Just get your fucking face beat in 5 rounds, or 3, 4, 5 rounds straight.
A lot of people thought Miller was going to pull that one off, man. I was shocked.
Really?
Yeah, I went back
wow.
and, I listened to a couple different analysts, and one of the shows that I watch on a frequent basis always shows the pros picks, and they go and show the different UFC athletes and their choices, and there were a lot of people that were really thinking Jim Miller was going to be able to pull this one off.
Look, if we're having a toughness competition, I want Jim Miller at the top of my roster.
Right.
But if we're talking fighting, no, man, I'm not really with it. Like, he can bang and he can throw down and he can survive, but that's all I ever see him doing.
Yeah. Well, Trinaldo was on point, though, too.
God, he looked great, didn't he, for 40 years old?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is for his age, he really, really did his thing. Okay, the next fight was Pedro Munoz versus Rob Font. And Munoz...
We knew what we were getting with this fight.
Yep. I mean, the one thing that stuck out for me, I went Rob Font, and the one thing that stuck out for me from our past podcast was me saying, well, there's always that guillotine choke. So I guess if Munoz can pull that off, and jeez. First round.
Yep, Rob Font kicking ass, whooping ass, beating Pedro's face in. Pedro has no answer. What happened? Did Rob go for a...
Rob pushed him into the fence. As soon as his head went down, Munoz saw that neck, wrapped it up, and dropped him.
Yep, that quick, and Rob was winning that fight. And even Pedro said it, like, after they announced the win, he went and grabbed Rob Font and put his hand up because he knew. He was like, if I wasn't going to sink that choke in, you were beating my ass.
Yeah, that was crazy. So, yeah, we both took a loss there. Then we had Damian Maia versus Colby Covington. Covington ended up winning by unanimous decision. All I can tell you is I hope Damian Maia retires because I don't want to see that trash anymore. The gas tank was so blown. You're in your own fucking country, and I can't even get 2 rounds out of you? Dude,
30 incomplete takedown attempts.
You're done. You're done. Wrap it up. You're old, and no offense, but this fight looked worse than the last. I'm done, man.
It's time.
It's time. And I'm not trying to beat the guy up. You're just making yourself look silly.
It's time.
So, yeah, way to go, Colby. You, I would have said Maia. I always bet on Maia. It's hard for me not to bet on Maia. I wanted to bet Covington, and now I see why the hype train is what it is about Covington. So I'm watching with a unique perspective from here on out on Colby. I'm anxious to see what happens, what the next step is for him. Saw him.
Way to go, Covington! But you're getting your ass whooped by Tyron Woodley. Just saying.
Yeah, calling out Woodley. Again, man, we're talking levels.
Big levels.
The last fight on the card was Derek Brunson versus Lyoto Machida. Brunson won by first round knockout. Exciting. The dragon lost his flame.
Yeah, no, man. Derek's suggestion, the younger fighter, the dog in him showed up. And you could tell through the weigh-in he was there to mean business. Because he knew if he lost his ranking then to a 40-year-old returning legend, he knew that there's probably you're not coming back from that. So that's what happens to a lot of younger guys when they take these big fights against big main event names. But we talk about another fighter that should have just kept your gloves up, man. Machida, what are you doing? What are you doing? You got put out like that in round 1 in front of your home country, man. Yeah. And I really think it's unfortunate that in the main event and the co-main event, we have the only 2 of the 3 40-year-olds on the card, and these were the 2 that lost, the legends in their hometown. And I think that this fight card was supposed to tell us something bigger outside of the UFC or rankings, and that is Brazilian martial arts is being dominated by wrestling. And I hate to say it, but it's 100% true. If we live in a world now where you have to be able to get a wrestler to the ground, and you can't do that without equal wrestling. And we saw that in the Damian Maia fight. Damian has all this IQ, has all of this jiu-jitsu master, level. It's just nuts what this guy can do on the ground, yet you can't even get a guy to the ground anymore.
Right.
Machida, same way. You fought in this game back when people didn't know how to defend or stop a high kick.
That's the key. That's the key is what you're saying is there's been an evolution in the time that they were
prime.
They were at their prime. That's the best way to put it. When they were in their prime, the game was different. The game has evolved. It's changed. We talk about the next evolution of fight. And that's what's doing it. I mean, they have learned to neutralize the Brazilian jiu-jitsu with superior wrestling and striking. And if you can defend the takedown for a Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy, you end up seeing a fight very similar to Damian Maia and Lyoto Machida's. They both displayed the same thing. Brunson came out and executed a perfect game. Did exactly what he wanted to do.
No flaws.
No flaws whatsoever. And if you can't stop that, like I said, that it's a new game. So, yeah, I mean, way to go, Derek. We both called it. Both saw it that way. There was no question there. So, anyways, yeah, man, it was great. It made for a great night. It was really exciting. Derek Brunson and Lyoto both got Fight of the Night bonuses. So, it was a good cap on the night. I enjoyed the hell out of those fights. There were definitely ups and downs. But boy, oh boy, man, I'm going to look differently next time they're in Brazil when it comes to betting the card. I'm really going to have to pay close attention, as to who the Brazilian favorite is there.
Right, and we didn't do too bad. We really didn't do too bad on this card. But had we known, I had always heard about it, and I had always seen it but never wanted to consciously accept the fact that there's something going on in Brazil. But even fighters will tell you you are not safe in Brazil, and that goes for anti-doping policies, that goes for fight regulating, that goes for officiating. It goes all the way down the road when you're talking Brazil, because I mean it can only go on for so long before you can't consciously adopt the concept. And now I'm definitely aware, we watched a split. The only fight where our American lost and he dominated was also the only split decision of the night. Did you know that? Mm-mm. It was the only split of the entire night was the fight that our American dominated and lost. So I think that's very shady. And the rest were decision wins for Brazilians. So
something to remember for next time for sure, like I said. So listen, we've gone way over on time. I apologize that we have pushed it this long. This will definitely be our longest podcast yet. But
special card, though.
I was going to say there was so much good stuff to cover. So many great fighters on this. There's so many opinions to be had on so many people. But yeah, it's been fun. I wanted to answer one shout-out question. Somebody asked a question last week. They were talking about our screen. They asked if we were in the same place. And the answer to that question is no. we're doing this over a program where we mash two of our Skype pictures onto one through some program that we have. And he is actually in Denton, Texas, and I am in McKinney, Texas. And we are roughly 45, 50 minutes away from each other. Both in North Texas, though. And, yeah, so anyways, to close, we want to thank you for joining us. Please follow us, give us some feedback, drop us a comment down below in our comment section. Drop us a line on Twitter at SDP_MMA. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram as well. Once again, SDP_MMA. Tune in before every UFC fight for our predictions and analysis. Come on in and become part of our family. We're anxious to see where this thing's going to go, and we are looking forward to be able to communicate with this growing family. Till next time, we want you to be healthy. We want you to live to fight another day. We are SDP on MMA. Y'all be good. We'll see you next week. Enjoy those fights.